Hi, welcome to this course. You, the bravest among the brave, or perhaps the craziest among the crazy. But anyhow, you are here, and me too, and we will talk about the relationship between philosophy and emotions. So let's go. As you see in this initial conceptual map, there are several related concepts that explain what is an emotion. Well, in fact, and the truth is that while I was speaking, you has not been able to see anything at all because I was joking. You were feeling different things while I was explaining this and why in the moment that your brain was trying to check what was happening, the problem with the video configuration on other possible options. And the fact is that perhaps you have felt anger, sadness, perhaps surprise or worry about what was happening just at the beginning of this course. And surely after my small joke, you has been smiling or felt joy or perhaps surprise again or even anger against me again. Well, what has happened there in this moment that you have felt an emotion, and why? Because they are useful in order to decide things. So what is an emotion? The truth is that there is a strong disagreement about what emotions are because of several problems. For example, there are very strong disciplinary divergences regarding methodologies, instruments, models used for the studies of emotions or emotional events that come from different research areas. For example, philosophy, psychology, neurology, sociology, anthropology, and it implies that there is not an agreement about what really an emotion is and about the nature of emotions. At the same time, there is a second problem, that emotions imply something very weird, that is the private experience. We feel the emotions, but it's very difficult to explain what I really feeling at a special moment. For example, you can see here several examples of different reactions, that different emotional displays or arousals that has happened during this process in which my avatar is making stupid things like always. So if we take a concept of and phrase of Agustino Hippo and turn to the philosophical research on emotions, and we ask ourselves, what is then an emotion? If no one asks me, I know what it is, but if I wish to explain it with it to him who asks, I don't know. So this is the real situation with the analysis of emotions. Anyhow, we need to describe at least very briefly what are the affective phenomena. Initially, we have one concept, emotion, that can be explained by several ways. You here we will read the Oxford Dictionary's descriptions and definitions. Here, emotion is a strong feeling deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationships with others. Affect is the touch, the feeling of, or to move emotionally. The mood is a temporary state of mind or feeling. Feeling is an emotional state or reaction. And emotional is something related to a person's emotions. I don't know if you has understood correctly all these definitions, but if you think carefully, you will see this, that there is a vicious cycle between feeling emotion that pass this emotion to a feeling, and this feeling creates an emotion, the emotion and feeling. It's nothing that can be really solved. For that reason, I suggest a different definition, more academic, in which affective phenomena can be described following several categories. Perhaps a more important, emotion, affect, mood, and feeling. And for example, emotion is a multi-situated body mechanism to give semantic meaning and coordination to internal and external data in order to create action states. So it's a process that happens inside the brain, but it's shared with other brains and with other bodies, and it's managed culturally and symbolically in order to produce some reactions. Then we have also the effect, that it is an outward or physical signs of emotion. Then a very important aspect of emotions that is the notion of mood, that is a pervasive emotion that longs over or happens over a longer period of time, that it also gives an explanation for the existence of characters, of personalities. And finally, the feeling, the self-perception of an emotional event. And you see at the bottom of this video several links in which you can see how the emotional states change the reaction and the coordination of social or even not very intensive social insects. So we have seen things like anger, surprise, fear, or even sadness in the same situation, just because the units of living entities that are perceiving this action are categorizing or are creating tags or trying to understand what is happening and then trying to adapt to this situation, provoking a response. So if you think again carefully, emotions are interactive social processes. Why do we need them, emotions? Because not only we need them, but we need them for several purposes, and it explains their multimodal nature. First, they provide some somatic or physiological responses. Secondly, they provide behavioral and expressive ways to interact with other entities. At the same time, they are always interacting and making deep influences all throughout the cognitive processes that happens into our bodies. And finally, they are the basis of our experiential and subjective relationship with the world. So you can see here an example. You can feel pain at the first moment. Secondly, you can cry. At the third moment, you try to avoid the painful input, and finally, you can understand the whole situation and feel fair. So they are useful for several purposes, from survival to social interactions. So, which is the nature, in a sense, of emotions? There are obviously psychobiological hardwired aspects of emotions that are dealing with our bodily structure, and at the same time emotions are running, are being performed at a symbolic and ideological level, because they are placed into a cultural environment. So in order to finish this initial classroom, I know that it's a lot of information, but we can conclude saying that there is not a true agreement among experts about the definition of what is an emotion. At the same time, we know that emotions, or we have just introduced the point that emotions are a mixture of bodily and cultural processes. And finally, another complex aspect of emotions are multimodal. So thank you so much for being here. I hope we can meet in the second video of this course. And referring to a great popular philosopher, I will say you take care of yourself and each other. Bye. Thank you so much.